We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the year's first installment of Aftermath Hours, the weekly podcast of Aftermath.site, a worker owned, reader supported website about video games, the internet, and everything that comes after. Aftermath is for the moment fully reader supported, so if you like what you hear, you can subscribe just on our site. Um, or if you don't have a ton of money, we'd really appreciate it if you could, go on Apple or Spotify or wherever and leave a review. I'm Nathan Grayson, and today I'm joined by Chris Person
Hello.
and Riley McLeod.
Hello.
And yeah, I just got back from GDQ, and boy, are my arms tired. I'm
Uh,
stealing that joke. Um, yeah, no, so I'm a little bit wiped out today, but we're still gonna bring you our best possible episode. Um, I will say GDQ was really cool. Just to quickly spotlight that, like actually attending the event, Games Done Quick. It's a charity speedrunning marathon. Yeah, like everyone was just super nice and positive and enthusiastic. Definitely one of those events that restores your faith in humanity a little bit. So for folks
Yeah, I
who
think
watch it
it's
every year, it's like that in person too.
yeah, I was saying to you that I think you almost never hear about people actually going, even though people obviously go. And I feel like when you told me you were there, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And
Yeah,
I think that's really neat. Yeah.
yeah. I'm working on a piece for a upcoming theme week about kind of GDQ and the culture surrounding it and how it's managed to become a you know I guess like a counteractive force to so many other like online gaming cultures. Like you get so used to gamers being hyper toxic and super masculine and just shitty in all these ways that um, you know don't really help anyone. And GDQ feels like a very concerted effort to be the opposite of that. And talking to a lot of people, it seems like they're succeeding. Like it's one of those things where everyone says like, oh yeah, they could do better in ways X, Y, and Z, but by and large, they practice what they preach. Um, yeah, so it was cool. I had a good time, and people will be able to read more about it on the website in the semi-distant future.
I think about this with GDQ all the time, where I feel like I don't watch the streams of games I'm not familiar with because I kind of already don't understand the games and I don't understand what's cool. But
Hmm.
did you watch games that you don't like know?
Yeah,
Am I just a weirdo or like
yeah.
does everyone
No, I
do that?
mean, I watched a lot of games that I don't necessarily know. Some of them, it's super impressive too. Like they had a run of like Kaizo Mario last night, which is like this, um, like hyper challenging, like user made
yeah.
Mario game, and like it's deranged. Like you have to be note perfect at all times because you're constantly being barraged by things that can kill you. You basically just have to memorize all of it and then execute it perfectly. And that's a game that I've never played and I would never play. But watching somebody run it last night, especially like surrounded by an audience of people who are like losing their minds at the level of skill on display, like yeah, it was really cool. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
I feel like but if I don't know the game, I just get really like baffled, and then because I'm me, I don't know what's happening, and I get a little like well, screw you then about it. Like I feel like it's like I don't know how to have the mindset of just like I don't know what's going on, and I'm just gonna let it like happen. But I feel like I miss out on a lot of cool like runs that way.
but it also depends on the game. Like,
Yeah,
you maybe you have not played this particular, I mean, you definitely haven't played this particular Mario.
yeah. But if
But,
you've
maybe you haven't even played a Mario game, but you know the basic language of Mario. You can
Yeah.
watch that and be
yeah,
like, I understand the stakes. I know why this is happening or how things are
that's true.
happening. Yeah, so it's stuff like that.
The uh
Uh,
the the one I was looking at last night was like Psychonauts 2, which is like a very, or was it the night before? I forget.
it was
It's
the
been a
night
couple.
before.
It was the night before. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But like it's just like one of those games you're like, I don't like that took a while to play, and that's all speed running is like, wow, you guys just fucking know how to destroy this thing.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, it's
the other
crazy.
night, I've been playing a lot of Power Wash Simulator 2 over the break.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is like I'm like I should be doing something else, but I'm like, oh, Power Wash Simulator. And I started wondering there must be a Power Wash Simulator speedrunning scene, and so I went to YouTube to look for them. But it's kind of super unpleasant. Like people, jank the sprayer back and forth really fast, and I was like, oh, okay, there's obviously a scene here, but I don't know that I want to witness it because it's a little physically unpleasant to witness.
Hmm.
But I was like, gosh, how do you do it?
It can go
Maybe
either
it's something
way. Like
you should dive into.
in terms of like speedrunning stuff, like the fastest way to do a thing, especially glitched, is always going to be like is oftentimes extremely viscerally unpleasant, but sometimes it's really soothing.
Yeah,
Like every time
Yeah.
somebody
yeah,
goes up, like I think there was a Mario 64 like 50-star run the other day, and every time somebody does the trick where they go up the infinite stairwell by like slamming his ass at the right angle, is
Yeah.
like it's one of my favorite sounds like boop, 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 in the world. It's just like it's so cool. It's so
Yeah.
sick.
I
Yeah.
remember there was a Dishonored speedrun where you can beat the game. Can you beat the game, or you can get out of the game? In the very first level where like Dowd's assassins attack you, there's some way to like glitch out of the game or something amazing. It was one of those things that I was like, I love speedrunning is so great. I was
Sekiro
like, this game lasts
glitches
10 seconds. Game over.
Sekiro's glitches are like you have to like crash through the floor and then like swim under the map. Because I think swimming behavior is just coded underneath the map because like if you're at that low, you're gonna be
Mhm.
swimming or something like that. I forget how it works. But I just know that it involves people like swimming through walls or something like that, and then I think they
Mhm.
patched that out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's all just great. And it's one of those things where, you can tell how much passion people have for the games that they choose to run.
Yeah.
And, I think that especially was the part to me that was so, I guess, like intoxicating about being there is that, especially for us as journalists, like covering the industry and covering often the sides of it that are maybe like not always super fun or like bad things happen to people, bad things happen to workers, etc. It can be easy to kind of like become cynical about games and the industry surrounding them, and like being around all these people who just like fucking love this shit, or especially who are like so dedicated to a particular game that they will spend hours practicing it and like running it again and again and again. It's like, oh yeah, like there's a really cool and enthusiastic community here, and like they're doing good things and being kind to each other, and it's like, yeah, it's just nice. It's just a nice thing.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of less nice things, significantly less nice things, now it's
Oh.
time to talk about
Oh,
one
bad
of those things that we
things. I
cover.
hate bad things.
I know, right? Don't we all? And yet,
Why
we
did we start the
participate in society.
why did we start the bad things website parentheses with occasional good things?
Look
Yeah,
at
I know,
this
right?
bad stuff.
But yeah, so this week, Ubisoft announced that they are closing down Ubisoft Halifax, which is a studio that, coincidentally, Ubisoft claims just unionized. Ubisoft is saying that the closure had nothing to do with the recent union activity. But, if you're a company that is trying to keep workers down, that sure seems convenient. Um, and yeah, I thought that it was worth talking about both because, it's a major news event in games, but also because weirdly a similar thing just happened also to like the Pittsburgh Post Gazette,
I'm losing my mind. Like, so
where it,
if people who don't know, they were on strike for like 3 years, and
Mhm.
they went to court, and they went to NRLB, and they won recently. I think the day they closed the paper down, the judge denied the papers, like protesting. They owed them. The thing is that they still owed them like money. They still owe the workers money. So they don't get to do this to like get out of what what happened. But I think to me the strike was so inspiring and so insane. Like it went on 3 years is insane. They started their own
Mhm.
newspaper in the meantime, and like it was this sort of triumph, I think, of like what it means to stick to a labor action. And to see this happen is like my god, I like ran around my apartment like screaming. It's
Yeah.
nuts, man.
But in both these cases, it was like instances of, labor victories followed by people just taking their balls and going home. Like,
Yeah.
effectively, again, Ubisoft claims that that's not the case, that it was a coincidence. But it sure does seem like the strategy in these cases is to say, well, I could treat my workers with a modicum of respect, or I could just destroy everything. I could just have nothing at all. And it's like, man, why are those the
Okay.
stakes? Like, it's just silly to me.
I
Um,
mean, it's their right, I guess, as the owners of a business to shoot themselves in the foot. Like,
I
I
can set my money
guess
on
that's
fire.
yeah, that's a choice you can make. And right, I think, like you said, it bears repeating that it isn't clear that that's why it happened.
yeah.
But
Um,
yeah,
because yeah, they just said that like, it's a matter of it's the typical bullshit line, right? They want to streamline operations, improve efficiency, and reduce costs. And that's why they decided to make the difficult decision to close the Halifax studio, which impacts 71 workers. Um, and so, yeah, Ubisoft is just saying that part. CWA, which helped the workers unionize, said that they are going to pursue every legal recourse to ensure that the rights of these workers are respected and not infringed in any way. Um, the union said in a news release that it's illegal in Canada for companies to close businesses because of unionization.
That's
It's
crazy.
not necessarily what happened here, according to the news release, but the union is demanding information from Ubisoft about the reason
Wow.
for the sudden decision to close. So yeah, it sure does seem fishy. And like
That's
we keep seeing things like this, right? Like similar, with to what happened to Rockstar, where you had a burst of union activity, you had workers basically ready to unionize, and then, oh, sorry, we need to lay people off for reasons.
I'm just like surprised you could do that. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you learn things about other countries that like surprises you because you assume that they're like, I don't know, not as evil as us, or like if they are, they're better at hiding it, or there's like some weird little, I don't know, just weird. You assume certain things that are, and then it's just like, oh yeah, Canada, just like us.
Yeah, right.
They are just
Um,
kind of us, but like you're better at hiding it, you know.
yeah. Well, yeah. And so in all of these cases, again, like you still have Rockstar saying the same stuff as before right now, too. They're still saying, oh, yeah, it was about like leaked information. That's why we had to get rid of those workers. Um, it's always these like thin pretenses or these things that feel like flimsy pretenses. And then the end result seems pretty bad for them. Like this looks really bad for Ubisoft. Rockstar is still dealing with the fallout of them letting go of all those workers, and like that's going to be tied up in a tribunal process for a while. Um, it really does just seem like at some point the better option is just to say, hey, yeah, you guys can unionize. We'll go to the bargaining table with you. Like,
right, drag it out there.
yeah, which they often do. I mean, Microsoft sort of
Yeah,
did that before some of the studios there finally got their contracts. And even then, like Microsoft, unfortunately, is a great example in that you can let a lot of people unionize and then still wield pretty overwhelming power. Just, lay them off later or do all the other horrible things Microsoft has done.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
I mean, I imagine with all the games industry layoffs too, it's a tough time. You have a little bit less leverage, or maybe you feel like you have less leverage as a worker than you did, because like that you're not just gonna go somewhere else. And I'm sure that bosses know that as well. But I think that makes it more important than ever to to stand up and
Hmm.
fight for your rights in that way. But it's tough. It's I think we talk about unions. I'm obviously a firm believer in unions, but I always want to remember that they're not like a magic bullet that
Yeah.
fixes everything, and
Hmm.
it's not all bread and roses. I guess. Um,
It definitely is better. Like that's the thing that
yeah,
you kind of like. You can sort of say like it is better when you have certain equity in a thing than not. That changes your relationship to it. It is not like a perfect situation, but like it will be better. It comes with its own little very minor compromises relative to the amount of like if you think of the amount, like he's like, oh, I gotta go to a meeting or something like that, and it's like, okay, but you could also do X, Y, and Z. Like that's basically every labor compromise is like, you know,
yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
one of the really interesting things that I definitely learned bargaining in contracts is like you both
same.
have to abide by the contract and you both have to lose a little bit. And I think that can be really hard to to deal with. But it is, it's a compromise.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. But yeah, it's
yeah,
all the whole situation is weird too because in theory, like, if we're talking about Ubisoft, they just got a bunch of money. They just got a bunch of money from Tencent last year and they're making their like bizarre little like pocket company that's
Right.
centered around all the big franchises, like
Are
Rainbow
the
Six and Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. Um,
yeah,
so
are
I
the
guess maybe
mobile
there's the argument to,
games
hmm,
Halifax made not part of that, even though they're Assassin's
even though
Creed
they're in
technically?
those series, yeah,
Yeah,
that's sort
I
of
don't
the
know.
question, right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I guess,
obviously not, I guess.
yeah, I guess like Ubisoft can make the argument that yeah, they're restructuring around this new kind of status quo. Um, but again, it seems awfully suspicious, and it could definitely be a thing where that somebody said, "Hey, we can kill two birds with one stone and free up some money, and also get rid of this pesky unionized studio that we now have on our hands."
I mean, I keep assuming they're gonna. I think all of us were like, how have you not been bought by like a combination of like Tencent and like the Saudis, or just any number of. How are you still operating this specific way? Do you know what I mean? In and so anytime they do something, I'm like, oh, they are. That is not. That does not. It feels like you were just trying every trick in the book to not have to
Mhm.
I think,
face up to reality. And maybe I'm just
yeah,
being too cynical, and maybe their things are better than I assume they are. But
I think
yeah,
that's why back before the break, remember when they delayed their earnings and
yeah.
everybody went
I was like, oh my
crazy,
god, yeah.
myself included?
Yeah,
Yeah, because it seems like the whole thing seems like such a house of cards, and it was like, okay, surely now, um, yeah, good luck to them, I guess.
yeah. Well, the whole
Um,
Tencent thing was also like, a
yep.
last-ditch effort on the part of like the Gameau family to maintain some degree of power, to like stay at the head of the company, even though they've made a lot of really boneheaded decisions and obviously presided a bunch over a bunch of like harassment issues in the early 2020s. Um, and so it does in that light kind of make a degree of sense that of course they're like afraid of a union because they're obviously very power focused. They love the family to be in charge, and anything that threatens that, they seem to be like just virulently opposed to. Um, Even though I mean, again, like Ubisoft, I think their whole problem, the thing that like makes people unenthused about them, is they've been stuck in a rut for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like they could use, more voices at the table. They could use more people having unique ideas, trying new things. Um, but they just insist on like the way that they've always done things.
Yeah, they need to have a good idea. They need to do something like interesting. I don't know, or like they need to like actually have the conviction to follow through on the interesting thing and not be worried about being bullied. I know it's complicated, but still, it's just like they've been. It's felt stale for a very long time in a way that feels like a poster child for the industry writ large. You know what I mean? Like it does. It feels like a microcosm of like just you guys are out of ideas, man, and um, could use a new one that isn't
Yeah.
like nuking a studio.
Well,
That's
that's
the oldest
seemingly the
idea.
only idea that game companies have now. Um, with that in mind, actually, I think we can probably move on to our predictions, if only because I feel like that's a pretty easy one to make right off the bat. Is that I'm sure that we're going to see some more studio closures this year, because that's just the kind of cycle that the spiral that the games industry finds itself in. Um, but I was wondering, maybe let's start with like, do y'all have any predictions that are a little bit happier?
I bet
Okay.
we'll okay.
No, you go ahead. Go. Sorry.
I was just gonna try to think of something positive. I feel like we last year we saw so many cool indie games, and as low as I am to sound like Jeff Keighley here, like I think that I'm sure people with money do take notice of that, and so I bet that
Mm,
we will continue to see like more cooler sort of experimental, neat kind of games like that. You can fight about what defines indie and stuff, but I do think it really felt like not 2025 didn't feel like as much of a year of big like blockbusters, and I think that we'll continue to see that, maybe not just because it seemed to be successful, but I think as the money gets tight and it's people can't afford these giant sort of games. So I'm hopeful about that.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually funny because before this recording, I went over our episode from last year that had
Oh
predictions
gosh.
to see how they turned out.
Are they good?
And there were some predictions kind of like that, because on that we had Chris Pratt on that episode, and
Uh,
so his prediction for 2025 was, and this is a quote, "The vibes will improve." Um,
Ooh.
yeah.
Sorry,
did the
Chris.
Now
vibes improve?
Chris, I'm so
he
sorry.
specifically said that there would be a slowing down of layoffs, which is true. There were a lot of layoffs, but there
Yeah,
were
Yeah,
less than in the
yeah,
year prior.
yeah. I'd say so.
yeah,
Um,
there
and some
were.
modest union victories, which is also true.
Also true. Yeah, way to
Yeah.
go, Chris.
Um,
Congratulations.
However,
Yeah.
then he also said confidence in the economic future of the industry as a result of like Switch 2 and maybe GTA 6. And that didn't really work out.
No, but I mean that was pretty good. I will say. There's a couple of
Yeah.
there where I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Good on you, Chris. I was also assuming right on
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Well, you were not on this episode. It was
Oh, okay.
Chris and Gita, other Chris.
I'm
But
taking
yeah,
it as
no,
a
it's really
win.
funny because Gita's prediction right after that was the financial collapse of the industry, which also did not come true.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no, yeah. I mean, I
Um,
wonder what we'll see this year with that. I mean, I think I mean, nobody has any confidence in any of the economies, but I think also we were talking before we started. I think the cost of hardware and stuff like that is
Yeah,
definitely
it's not good.
a a problem. Yeah, and like, what's that
yeah,
gonna mean
I think
for
you're.
everybody?
I think the RAM thing is going to go really really badly. I think that is
Yeah,
going to be a bigger problem than most people who don't follow this stuff realize it is. I think that like it is also a bad. But like the question is, can the fact that like RAM is just being funneled into these horrible little projects, can that outrun the fucking palpable apathy I have heard, like real palpable apathy. I don't know if anybody has been watching CES. Fun fact: it is not a consumer electronics show.
wait,
yeah. Who is it
Mostly,
for at this point?
it's for people who like smart home devices because Matter's kind of like getting in a good place now. So like
Mhm.
interoperability is kind of better, and if you like I guess OLEDs are getting slightly nicer. I think the PC OLEDs are having a little RGB stripe in them, so the text is a little bit better readable, which is good.
Mhm.
And then the rest of it is like Jensen Huang and every Jensen Huang like person, like getting on the stage and being like, "Hey, AI, everybody," and just no clapping, just a fucking pin drop. In fact, the best pop was from Dell of all people. I'm not sure if people saw
Oh yeah,
this.
when they were like talking about how AI
Like
it maybe isn't the thing.
oh,
they were
nice.
basically like consumers don't know what that means. If you give them an AI PC, they don't know what a TPU is, they don't know what a local model is, they don't give a shit. And everyone's like, "Yeah, you guys the Ted Danson Dell figured it out." Dell meme was going on, which is very blue sky. Very blue sky,
Yeah,
but I will give him credit. That's like a corny meme, but I love it. It's good. It's fine.
yeah.
But it literally is just like you guys like the people who actually make hardware are like people don't care about this. Like AMD went up and they had a whole new processor they just didn't talk about and instead got like someone from the Trump administration to come out and be like, "We're
Mhm.
breaking local or we're trying to reform local laws to make it easier to build data centers." And it's like I want a better robot vacuum. I don't want this. This is not why I'm here. I'm not there, but it's not why I'm there spiritually. And then there's a bunch of robots that fell down. So my prediction is that
Yeah, there was a lot of falling robots.
robots will continue to fall down.
Excellent.
We will not have a
Chris,
robot.
write a blog about all the falling down robots.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
I would like
actually
to see
that is a
them.
good blog
I want to see
idea.
them all in one place. That'd be fun.
the only one I know I saw, and I wasn't sure if it
There was one
was
with the hat,
the one with the
and
hat. I
then
wasn't sure if it was
uh,
from this year, but it was
oh
a
yeah,
little robot with a little Michael Jackson hat and like a little
yeah.
tuxedo thing. And he just does the rest in peace to Mike F, Twitter user Mike F. He does the like, "Hey, check this out, motherfucker," kicks my leg out, falls on my ass. It wasn't clear what I was supposed to do. Post, but like I've never seen a robot do the thing that in that post so accurately because he's just like, "Yep, bidip, bidip, bidip,
And then
oh,
he like
oh."
rolls
Oh,
over into like a little coffin position, and
that
then
might have been from another event, in which often happens, but I think
yeah,
it
I'm not
it
sure.
feels like it's from this. But there was just a lot of robots and like a lot of people being like, uh, currently this is being piloted by our friend Hal or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's the hard part. The hard part
Hmm.
is, well, okay, two things. One, don't make a robot in the shape of man. That's hubris. That's like that's Tower of Babel shit. Don't do that. A robot should not take the form of a person. It should be like a dog or a spider or like a weird tank. Like it should be a battle bot, or and it should have like Doc Ock arms because that's cool, or like be a vacuum because otherwise it's just gonna walk around and fall on its ass and then not get up. And none of these things are like the industry feels like it's trying to be like, okay, fuck, what do we do? AI, robots, and they've been trying to do that pivot forever, but like that's not a thing anybody wants to buy. It's like really not really clear that the technology is nowhere close to being there, and
Hmm.
like nobody can actually buy it. Like where robots are competitive
Right.
is in the evil factories in China that don't have light bulbs or something. Like the dark factories where they make like cars that are really cool to look at because they don't
Hmm.
need lights because like 10 guys work there. Like
Right. Well, it
I
feels
guess
like
I
it's,
would ask, do you, yeah, good.
it feels like it's an attempt to make this fundamentally unimpressive thing more impressive by giving it a shape that people can understand. Like if you talk about, like language models and data sets to them, their eyes will glaze over. But if you're like, we made a real robot, it looks and moves kind of like you, that's like going back to that idea of like a sci-fi story come to life, these things that people think that they can use to, like, it's just more straightforward to like our brains. And so I get
yes,
why they're doing it, but it's also just like it's a marketing tactic.
it
It's
it,
not
it
anything actually substantial. It's not real.
no, but I do think they believe it is the difference. I think that they
Hmm.
actually do believe in it. Cuz I think that they are stupid and that they're like their conception of what the future should be is formed from like the Jetsons when they were a child. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It literally is like, why can't it do all the things I want it to do? Why don't I
Right,
have a
right.
robot slave? Like the fact that it's like we have robots. I have one right over there. It
I'm
sucks
using them right
dirt.
now.
I can yeah, I had to I talk to him every day. He's a lovely little guy. His name's Tachikoma. I renamed him on a local level, and after it took so long for robot vacuums to not suck, like not intentionally a pun, like for them to like be okay at the task of vacuuming. It took a while for that to happen, and now
Mhm.
it's just kind of there. And that took like 10 years of just like not sucking, and then like now it's there. They're not going to do this, but they do
Mhm.
think it's important to have a human slave. Like that's the thing. It's not that
Yeah,
it's like approachable or marketing. They want a human slave. They
right. Well, it's also
Well, I
like a
wrote
lot of
about
AI
this
stuff in
with,
general. There's a desire for
yeah.
like a little servant that will do everything for you and make it so that there's no friction in your life.
I mean, this is what I wrote about with the Razor's Project Ava thing, which used to just be a staid voice telling you about what, lane to be in a MOBA, and now is like an anime girl that tells you look good in your shirt.
okay, that
And
thing's fucking wild, by the way.
it's I feel bad. I do want to point out that I'd made a headline, and then some people were like, "What if I do fantasize about a friend in a jar?" And I was like, "Oh shoot, okay, that's fine. I don't want Razor to sell me the fantasy of it, but like if that is a thing that you personally like to think about, get on it. I get it.
I
Um,
I don't know. I don't think that I could
for
respect
yourself,
anyone
I guess,
who
for yourself personally,
desires such an
to live in a little
object,
jar.
Well,
who wants
But
a little person in a jar. That
it
just
was
feels
two things
yeah,
bad
though.
and
it
wrong.
was
Two
interesting to me. Like I watched some videos and I read The Verge's review, and then I watched like Shaq News's video. And the thing, like, it's set up specifically for CS, but it's like flirting with them and
yeah.
like I'm gonna be the prettiest for you, and it's like, and they told Bloomberg, I think, that they're not making it for like lonely gamers, but like why? What?
That's
Come on,
that's a real
like,
like you're asking questions that my shirt that says we're not making this for lonely gamers
yeah.
answer. It's like, that
And
sure
it,
sounds like you're making something for lonely gamers.
Oh man,
yeah,
it
I think
does.
like a lot of AI, like it offends me that they think that's what I want. You know what I mean? That like that they think that they're gonna tell me that I want such a thing and that I am a lonely gamer and that is what being a gamer means. And I want to be like, like get wrecked, man. Like it's 2026 and like everybody plays games. Like you need help with the video game from your friends. Like ask your real friends that you clearly have because you're playing a video game online with them. Like you don't need the anime girl in a jar to like wake you up. Like give me a freaking break, man.
It does feel like it uh I'm trying to think of a tactful way to put this. It does feel like sad figurine adjacent, and like also the fact that it's
Yeah.
by default using Grok, and they're like, but you can use
Yeah.
any
Like, come
model.
on.
You can use whatever model you want, because like they've clearly
Right.
planned this in advance. Because they're like, what if he uses a sexy robot, and then then the
This
sexy
week
robot
of
started
all
doing
weeks,
sex crimes, like 20
like,
fucking times, 60 times a minute. It's doing
yeah,
sex
I
crimes.
didn't, I didn't see if anybody asked him about that, but I feel like were I at CES, it would be difficult for me to
Yeah.
not immediately
That would be
look that
the
up.
question.
Like,
Yeah.
and it says on the website that like I think they're using that now, but I assume that it will
It's
change.
open to models. You know, like you can load whatever stupid fucking model you want on these
But
things.
Hmm.
that's not the one that I would. I mean, I wouldn't pick any of them honestly, but I was gonna ask you though, Chris. I think it seems like a good prediction that tech is gonna not be consumer facing this year, but do we think that that will like filter down to the video game industry in some way?
Um,
Which I know is like players versus obviously they're pitching things
so
to
so
studios that need different
the
hardware than
thing
we need, but like
the thing was like I'm a little concerned about the Steam machine because the Steam machine uses RAM, but also your phone, but also several things do use RAM, and so like these things that like. I mean, we were all like, how much is that thing going to cost? And they're like, low end PC. And I'm like, well, how much does a low end PC cost right now? You know, like, did
right,
you get that
exactly.
RAM before all this happened? Did you lock that down? And like, I hope they did. But like, you know, long term, who knows what the future of the box is? You know, that changes over time, yada yada. But like, I think you're just gonna see fewer and fewer people like be able to afford the hobby. You know what I mean? Or
Hmm.
drop out of it, or like do the K-shaped economy thing where like I don't know. I have been noticing that the Switch 2 like is going on sale a little bit more than I expected it to. It
Hmm.
didn't really do like it did well when it came out. I think people who wanted to buy it bought it when it came out, and then like the PS5 outsold it the year it came out, which is crazy a little bit, you know, like and I do think we're in this like precarious moment. The people who are served, it's kind of a saturated market, and then everyone else is like, I don't know. I don't know what it does to prices. I don't know what like any what happens, but I do feel like
Do you do you think there's a world where like I think like one of the things I feel like I've seen is as video games keep getting more and more graphically demanding, and I feel like I can't keep up like with my own hardware. But if there's a world where regular people can no longer afford hardware, is there a world where games stop chasing this heavy duty graphical fidelity because like you can't upgrade your computer to play to play GTA 6, right?
Hmm.
Like, or do they just keep going because now they're so that's a goal that's tied into the game's studio economy in some way that
GTA
has nothing
6
to do with
GTA
us,
6 is like such a fucking X factor though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it could just be one of those things where I'm like, "Oh man, the industry dies," and then like GTA 6 drops and it is like bigger somehow than even we expect or and like
Well,
people do
because
buy
like,
all those things cuz like people wait
yeah.
for that, you know? People wait for fucking GTA to get a console
Also,
sometimes.
I think that what Rockstar wants, and probably what a lot of people want and expect, is for GTA to be another forever game. Like
Yeah.
barely anyone can release a forever game anymore because, that market is quite crowded. And those games by definition, you just play that one game. But I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Rockstar, just given their resources and the fact that, Grand Theft Auto Online is still huge. Um, so I think that what happens there is probably that it becomes its own little island alongside, the other games that are their own little islands. Your like, Fortnites and Robloxes and Minecrafts, which is also the other side of this. Is like so many of the games that people now just play constantly, at the expense of playing new games, are these older ones that aren't that graphically demanding anyway. Like Roblox, you can run on a fucking calculator.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, and so, like, in some ways, the industry is already, or games are already moving that direction. It's weird to call Roblox like part of the industry because it feels like it's its own thing. Um, but it feels like that's already where games are headed just by virtue of where a lot of the younger players are.
My nephew got a PS5 for Christmas, and they also like had I guess they had like a bundle or something, or like his dad wanted a Portal, and they were at the house in at Christmas, and I see what he's playing on his Portal, Like,
Mhm.
you know, he's a kid, he's like a little kid, and he's
Yeah.
playing Roblox on his Portal.
Huh.
I was just like in,
My
but
nephew plays
but
that.
he's playing
Yeah.
Roblox in his Portal like remotely. You know, like he's remoting into the PS5 that's playing Roblox, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
wild. That's like
I was
such a
gonna
that's
say, I respect that.
I kind of respect
Playing ever
that.
small.
Yeah, yeah.
Nathan, I thought of you. I went to see my sister, and her kid has a Steam Deck, and I was like, "Hey, let
Hmm.
me see that." And I was like, "Ah, damn, Nathan's right. This is pretty good." Like I was like
Yeah.
holding
You
it, and I
should
was
put.
like,
You
It's a
would
good machine.
love a
"I
Steam Deck,
really should go
Riley.
Yeah.
into these." It was like
Riley,
really good.
what if we got you a Steam Deck? What if
Because
we
now
Yeah.
they
did?
don't
What if we pull our
sell.
resources?
They don't sell the cheaper one anymore, right? You just give it
The
away.
OLED is worth it, I
No, they
will
stopped
say.
manufacturing it, but they're selling through the stock. So the cheaper
Oh,
one, I think you can still buy. It's actually on sale last week for like
yeah, I saw
$320 or
that.
something. Like,
I looked at the website
Yeah,
while
you
I was
should
talking
do
to
it.
Nathan.
You should do it.
yeah,
It's you would love it. You would love it
yeah,
because it's all the games that you play run
Right, that's the thing.
flawlessly on it. Like, you know,
yeah,
you're like, oh, this is about like a bookbinder or something. You know, this is an
Yeah.
indie game about like that like takes like nothing to run. Like that's all the
mhm,
that's like
90 Yeah, 90% of the games on my Switch are just games that I have on the PC. Like I don't, and the Zeldas I've never finished. But like my Switch is definitely on its last legs, and I was like, oh, I should get another like, but it would be nice to be able to take the games that I actually like with me. But also like
mhm.
you can see how close, my PC is to my couch. Like, what do I need a portable for? I don't want to walk a foot and a half to the computer. Like, what
I,
am I, a
here's
lazy ass?
here's the thing though, Riley. You say that, and then you're on the couch and you're
And then
just
I
playing
totally
it,
do it.
and
Like,
it
oh, I don't want to
totally
get up.
rocks. It does. You're
Yeah,
just like
Yeah,
yep,
you got the little headphones in, you're
yeah,
cozy, like
yeah,
all
yeah,
that. It's like and like
yeah.
yeah,
It's
you can go
phenomenal.
back and forth. It's automatically synced to your PC. If you
Yep,
want to
all
do
your
some
saves are
evil
there.
streaming stuff, which you don't want to,
yeah.
but I do, it's great.
I
Um,
Hmm.
love that what convinced me was actually touching it. And then I was like, oh, shoot, Nathan was right all along. Like,
the
damn it. This is
um,
awesome.
I will
My
say
nephew's
also
learning like Unity on it. He made a little game and he showed it to me.
nice.
And I was like, oh my God. Like, my
that's cool.
sister doesn't like that he plays games because he gets super riled up and it's all he wants to do. But then I was like, oh, that's pretty good though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
probably going.
but okay. To resume predictions.
Sorry.
My
Since we were
prediction is that I can't
already
even get a Steam Deck.
yeah, right. Since we were already in GTA territory, do we think it's coming out this year? Is it gonna happen?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they can't. There's only so far they can push it before they're like,
Oh, I was gonna say before
Mhm.
when Nathan, when you were talking about like games being their own little world, I think of GTA Online as that, but it also there's something a little like quaint about it to me. Maybe just because the game is so old, and so I think
Mhm.
that when you think about what people are doing in there, it's like, wow, people are still doing stuff in there.
Mhm.
And I wonder, do you think like is GTA 6 gonna change that in a
Well, I
giant field
mean,
quotes, good or bad?
well,
Way?
so
I've
like
always meant to get into
Rockstar,
GTA Online and like never done it.
yeah, Rockstar hired the team behind one of the like major Grand Theft Auto role-playing servers, the
Oh,
No
cool.
Pixel team, I believe. And so like I'm assuming that Grand Theft Auto Online 2 or whatever they're gonna call it will have a
Yeah.
lot more like detailed interactions and like life sim elements and like you can play the game and like live in the world as opposed to just like do crimes and whatnot because there are all these ways that people
Yeah.
modded it to make it better for role playing and I think that you'll probably see a lot of that and so it'll be a like more sophisticated experience than just do Grand Theft Auto missions while a bunch of people shoot rockets at you.
Is it gonna
um
be a whole new like? Do you lose all your progress from GTA
it's gonna
Online
be a
now,
different
or does
game.
it?
I think.
yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be a totally
How
different
does it
game.
look?
I
Like
think
it's
it'll
gonna
be
be a different
massively more
map.
Wow.
sophisticated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think you could just
yeah,
like
Look at
you
him.
can just like be like, hey,
I
here's all your
could.
stuff. I don't think they're doing like the weird dream of an Ubisoft like United character that just like morphs into
But if you've
different
sunk,
yeah.
universes and
if you sunk a decade of your life into your other one, and then obviously everyone's gonna leave GTA 5,
I
right?
don't know if that's true. I
Because
don't think
there wasn't one. GTA Online came with GTA 5, right? There wasn't one
Yeah.
before that. What happened
Mhm.
with like Red Dead? Red Dead Online, was there Red Dead
it's
Online before?
There
mm,
was. It just
Too?
like never really took off. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
Red
like
Dead Online, like,
yeah.
there are people who play it, but it's not like this monolith. It's not this huge thing that a ton of people are
Huh.
into. Yeah.
We
which
should
sucks
Yeah, it's
because it's
weird.
better. I think it's
we should
cooler.
look into that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a
Zach
way it's also
Swisen, if
like
you're listening,
yeah,
free blog.
it's a much more interesting world to inhabit. But yeah, no, for whatever reason, Red Dead just didn't find its footing. But yeah, I think I agree. I think the Grand Theft Auto will finally come out, if only because I think also, you know, the people at the top of the company, the top of Take-Two, are probably starting to get antsy.
Yeah.
Um, they want their return on investment, so Strauss Zelnick can go buy another boat or something. Um, but yeah, okay. So let's see. Conversely, I'm gonna go ahead and predict that we will once again this year not see anything from Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, that's true.
Not even like a trailer.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's there's an Xbox presser later this month, and they're going to talk about Fable. Apparently, it's like
That was actually one of our predictions last year that we got right. Yeah, because we said Fable. No, not last year. But yeah, I guess if they're gonna finally show off Fable, maybe that game comes out sometime this year.
Neat.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see. You know. Let's see. Okay, other predictions, because I actually have a bunch of them. Oh yeah, no Witcher 4 this year.
No.
But I think that there's a rumor going around that they're going to
Right.
release prologue DLC for The Witcher 3, so like
God.
it'll begin the Witcher 4 story in that game. I think that's true.
Who's
Sounds like-
smart for never uninstalling the game now?
Let's
Pretty
see. Here's the bad news corner. The Saudi deal to buy EA will face little regulatory scrutiny and basically sail through. I think
But
that's
the shareholders approved it right before over Christmas. Is that right?
yeah, I
Okay,
think
okay.
so. Yeah.
I have a curveball. I have a curveball.
Okay.
Something really weird will happen with the Saudi investment fund that will not necessarily make that bad, but will like fuck things up
Yes, they did.
in the general. Like some weird allocation of funds will like they'll have spent a little too much in too many places, and then they're going to be like, oh, we're gonna have to do a haircut or something. Like I'm basing this purely on vibes, and there's like a 10% chance of it actually happening. But like the just weird, like I think something's gonna fucking get fucked up within like those weird circles.
Yes,
Chad,
I did
have
watch
watched-
Industry.
So
Yeah.
what is happening in that? Oh, because there's a new season, I think.
Yeah,
I
there's a
have
new
watched that
season,
whole show.
next month.
I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And something that I really love about it is when there's big stock market moments, sometimes things are in red or green. And I'm like, that's for dumbasses like me who don't know if this is good or bad. But I'm like, that must be bad because it's red. But like, I have never felt so stupid watching it.
I didn't realize that's
are they fucking talking about?
for people listening at home. Somebody asked us if we watched Industry because that's how the last episode ended. Was just the Saudi investment. Hey, maybe me and the show Industry are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because there's been reporting that some of their other investments are a little bit.
Yeah, and they're, like,
shaky.
running low
None
on
of this
money.
tech stuff because they're building that stupid city and everything.
They're not anymore.
I mean, oh,
The line,
rip.
the Neom's gone. The guy's making the big line in the hole in the desert stopped because
They've just got half a line.
not even. It's just like they made a big ditch and paid a bunch of people at McKinsey.
Ozymandias style.
That's all that happened.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Is that deal supposed to go through this year now that they've approved it? I can't remember.
I believe so.
So we'll definitely see if it goes through. I mean, we'll surely see rampant layoffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a
Yeah.
doubt. No, even though they've said like, yeah, don't worry about it, not gonna lay people off. Electronic Arts is gonna maintain creative control, all that stuff. It's like, no, they're being saddled with incredible amounts of debt, and
think
they
if
will lay off like half the fucking company the second that the deal goes through.
If the Netflix deal closes, I assume we'll see the same thing at WB Games, which we're conspicuously absent from all discussions about it.
I will say the
Netflix does not want games, so
the Netflix deal feels more like on a napkin than the other things. Like the investment one is like, here's a fucking plan we have to be evil and to like do evil to the world. Whereas this was like, it would be so nice if if you could just give us your stuff. It's just like it feels like a drunk call, like or something.
Well, they just rejected Paramount's pitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I think
let's see.
consolidation will be a big theme this year, as well as lack of regulatory oversight, because you
Yep.
can do whatever you want now.
Yes, indeedy.
So that'll be cool. That's fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of that, prediction: fewer new unions at Microsoft now that the neutrality deal has lapsed. least on the Blizzard side, and it will lapse later this year at ZeniMax. But conversely, I think more like out in the open union activity as the result of deteriorating industry conditions. We're already seeing some of that. That's, IWGB basically like broke cover to help out with Rockstar. They had been kind of quietly operating for a while before that. CWA now like saying, going after Ubisoft over the Halifax closure. Um, so yeah, the unions that we do have, I think, will be out in force this year, if only because there will be a lot to be out in force about. Um,
Yeah, I think. I mean, even at Microsoft, I'd like to hope the momentum is such that even if Microsoft drags its heels, I mean, it can drag its heels, but it can't. There's still, well, I was gonna say there's still laws, but I felt stupid saying that.
No, are there?
yeah.
Are
And I
there
Well, there's
think,
also
this week?
now at
yeah.
Are there
Microsoft there
laws?
are yeah, actually that's a
Oh,
very good question.
all
To be determined. Yeah, we'll see if
right.
by the
Okay.
end of the year that's there's a prediction. By the end of the year,
Yeah.
will there still be laws?
I'm
I
going
mean, I'm not a
no.
fan of laws, obviously,
I'm going
but
with probably not.
I don't
um,
know. I don't know.
To quote Alan Partridge, big fan of laws, not too keen on those who break them.
yeah. Um,
I
let's
was gonna
see.
say real quick. Also, adding to that real
Hmm,
quick. I'm not sorry if I'm interrupting your list. I
that's all
apologize.
good.
Uh, Microsoft will continue to get shittier. Not the
Oh yeah.
company specifically, although that's true, but like the products. And I think that what happened to Copilot, which is to say, what happened to Office
You mean
being
Office?
renamed Copilot, and is just sort of the canary in the coal mine. You're going to see the process of being on Windows, of using its products, just continue to deteriorate as people are like, the fuck are you doing? And that it's going to listen. Would I like it to be the summer of Linux again? Yes, I would like it to. I would like it to be the summer of Linux. Uh, will it be? I hope in my heart that that is the case. I hope the Linux desktop is ascendant. I hope they figure out how NVIDIA GPUs work and get the drivers to
Yeah,
work
this
on Bazite.
like mm,
I
this
got
could be
Bazite
like
running. I got
Linux's Zoom moment. You know what I mean? Like people need a thing, and suddenly, and it's like here's your chance.
I did get Bazite running on my PC in my living room, and it's mostly pretty good. It's a even though it has an NVIDIA GPU in there, it kind of works half the time, which is a lot.
I
Mhm.
You
mean,
know,
so if I got a Steam Deck, would I not have to get Windows 11? Would I need my PC? Like really?
for a
Besides
couple
this
of things.
stream,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mostly use it for gaming and this. Like, I mean, that's the way I feel like the Steam machine, where I'm like, oh shit, the Steam machine could in fact replace my PC. Um,
Sort
Um,
of.
yeah.
let's
So
see. Another big question. Do we think that this is the year the AI bubble bursts?
It's hard to tell
Mhm.
because like I mean you can say with certainty it's about to burst, but it's been about to burst for a while now, and I
Mhm.
don't think I'm skeptical that like your brain says it has to, and then
Mhm.
you realize that all of this is a fiction anyway, so maybe they can continue to make it go, but like it'll just get shittier. I
Mhm.
think yes, but like it's hard to tell if that presumes a shared reality that we all have is lines up to how things work.
Mhm.
yeah, I think the point in chat is right. Like when you think about like NFTs or whatever, it's like it required people to buy them and nobody bought them, and the metaverse required people to use it and nobody used it. But
Mhm.
here, AI is so far beyond. It doesn't seem to matter that people aren't using it in large meaningful numbers as far as I understand. And so part of me, like, in order for it to burst, it has to, the bubble has to float into a wall. And like,
Mhm.
what is the wall that it hits? Even if none of us adopt it, like at this point, does it matter? Like,
Yeah.
right, if they shove it into your Microsoft Office and you just, or they put it in our Google stuff and I don't use it, but they can charge me more for my G Suite and then say I'm using it. And like, I'm definitely on team like it has to. Come on, this is absurd. But like, what is
Mhm.
it that causes it? Unless one of those big investors pulls out, people stop giving Sam
Right.
Altman money, like it kills enough, it makes enough children kill themselves. I don't even know at
Yeah,
this
well, no,
point.
that
Like
it clearly is not a problem in this
that
country.
doesn't seem to matter.
Um,
It's like,
yeah, I think in the meantime, also,
yeah,
we're going to see more and more moments like what happened with Larian right before, the break, where they talked about using AI to make games. People got mad at them, and they it seems like they're digging their heels in. It seems like they're just going to stick with that. But I think we're going to hear about, AI usage on more and more major games, and people are going to have to make up their minds about how they react in terms of spending or interacting with those games in the future. Because yeah, I
right
think a
is
lot of these
like,
companies are like, you know we're using AI to improve efficiency so that we can make games faster and for less money, because that's the big issue with games, at least in the eyes of executives. And so it's just going to be this same kind of basic dynamic repeatedly. It's like,
Here, here
yeah, I mean, I wonder if somebody takes a big swing, like some studio releases an AI movie, or Disney's partnership with OpenAI is the worst thing in the world, or like I think all these companies say they're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then they do it in little ways. And there's always talk about everyone wants AI TV shows and blah blah blah. But maybe somebody just steps on the fucking rake, and maybe that ends it. Like I don't know, maybe it's so unpopular, but that
mhm.
that seems like a
I,
big fingers crossed. Like
one thing I will say is that the sentiment towards AI will continue to get more and more rancid. I
Mhm.
think that
yeah,
is like, I think that
this week alone. Yeah,
starting the year off with, I mean, the last 2 months, I guess you could say, with like what Grok has been doing and what X has
Yeah.
been doing, I think it is only going to get worse. And I don't know if that actually means anything materially to these companies. I don't know if they can just continue to do it, but like both how Grok is working and like doing sex crimes out in the open, like non-zero chance it ends with like Twitter getting removed from the App Store, like in some capacity. Like I think that like you're not like, I don't think people know, like you're not allowed to even like have shit on your computer if you're trying to investigate CSAM shit. Like being on X could be a crime at this point. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I'm just surprised. Like I think that like as people live with it more and more, it's just going to become almost a meme how bad this shit is. You know?
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I hope so. My concern is that, I think this is going to be the year where, and kind of going along with what I just said a moment ago about people finding out more and more that companies are using AI to make games and whatnot. It also feels like a lot of those companies and a lot of the people in charge are going to do their best to say, while it's here, it was inevitable, and now this is you've just got to live with it, and try to win through attrition, try to get people to begrudgingly accept that this is just the way things are going to be. And so eventually those rancid vibes just turn into, again, people being like, well, what can be done, really? This is just the world now. Um, so I guess that's my concern, is that people hit that state of numbness and acceptance, as opposed to maintaining that energy of hey, fuck this shit, this is bad, and I don't want it in any of the things that I use personally. But I
yeah, I don't
guess
know. I think it
yeah.
hangs on for maybe another year, but it gets notably shittier.
Mhm.
But prove me wrong, the world. I would love to sit here next year and go, oh, I thought the bubble wouldn't burst, and it sure did.
But it did, and now the U.S. economy is in shambles, and we're all
Yeah, is it gonna
destitute.
take us? Yeah, is it gonna take us all with
I mean,
it?
we'll be
That's
streaming through tin cans with strings
yeah.
attached.
I just did see
um,
a report, by the way, that like X might get banned in the UK.
hell yeah.
Amazing.
The Keir Starmer has been informed that it's doing pedo stuff, and number 10 is painfully aware. Apparently, I don't trust that Keir Starmer's going to fix things, but I'm like, man, I'm surprised it took that long.
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah.
that he would ever take Grok off of X, or he's dug in
It's
now?
it's
No, no,
just
he
no.
fucking loves Grok.
X owns X is owned by it. You know, like
Oh right.
they did that
Yeah.
weird like fucking inversion where like
Oh yeah.
I don't think they could do that if they wanted to at that point. You know what I mean?
So,
Like
like it
yeah,
doesn't have to be a chat bot, right? The company could. I don't know what the company would do if it didn't do a chat bot, but
But it's also just so much of, these are Elon Musk's stupid ideas. The
yeah.
decision to remove so many limits from Grok, I think came straight from him. Um, he wants this thing to be able to be used in all these like terrible boundary breaking ways because that's the sort of person he is.
I do
That's what he
agree.
believes in.
My
And he's so
gamer
ideologically
nephew,
motivated at this point in all his decisions that he's going to keep doing
yeah.
boneheaded shit like this. And also because he's a, billionaire oligarch who so far has proven able to get away with pretty much anything.
But
My
also
little gamer
like,
nephew thinks he's cool. I don't know where he heard this.
mm,
I don't like that he's in some part of the internet where he'd heard this. But I was trying to explain to him the thing where Grok was telling everyone that Elon Musk is the best at drinking pee and stuff.
Hmm.
Where I was like, I'm gonna disabuse him of this notion. But how do you explain to a kid like the reasons why he sucks are quite adults?
can
And
I do you mind if I read something that like Max Reed put on his Substack yesterday? It's just a quick little thing where he says,
Yeah, go for it.
unlike the Trump administration, because this is talk about how like you can't have Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is
Hmm.
now singularly tied to Musk, and Musk is toxic now. Like he's like a source of this, and he says. Unlike the Trump administration, which could survive a post Musk world, X.com has no choice but to keep Musk in charge. But Musk himself is not popular, has no juice, no aura, no special ability. The fact that he has lashed existentially to X.com and therefore to the right wing at large is as much a liability to the site and the reactionary project it houses as it is an asset to him. His site and its dedicated users are breaking laws in dozens of countries, and his only responsibility has been to joke. Response has been to joke about it. Someone should do something about that. There's nothing to be afraid of, and there's no reason not to. Like, that's the thing. There's no repercussions here. Like, every
right.
time you try to go against the Trump administration, they lose. It's just people don't do it. Like, it is a sick, dying old man. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like, you could say like, oh well, they're like a crazy police state, but like, not in every country. Like, Germany's
Right.
not going to ban this. Do people remember like Brazil made it illegal to be on X for like 5 minutes,
Oh
and
yeah.
now Blue Sky is like everyone. You're like, you just see someone going wow wow wow, just doing like Brazilian Portuguese. Just like you see Brazilian Portuguese in your feed because of one thing
Hmm.
that happened once. Like
Yeah.
their attitude towards like fucking like Japanese artists and art radically pushed people away. It doesn't take big things to do it. It takes a couple of small things before people just start bailing. And I think people already are. Gita's saying that Threads is popping now, which I disagree. I don't agree with because I'm not on there. But like,
Right.
Whatever.
like
Yeah. Maybe we should, start posting stories to threads again. Who knows?
I do. I'm
But yeah,
gonna. I'm
no, I
gonna.
mean,
I don't want to be on there, but I'll do it.
yeah. But no, you're right. And
The
that like X
website can be
and
on there, not us.
yeah,
Sorry.
that
By the way,
all
sorry.
these like all these very powerful figures though, these people who appear to be powerful are actually uniquely weak, especially in the context of the current moment and how unpopular they
Yeah.
are.
I
And
mean, at
how
this point,
yeah.
with Musk not in the government anymore, like who? And I don't know what his relationship to Trump is. I know it was bad, and now it seems okay again. Like,
Mhm.
what is there to be afraid of with him? Like, is he has no daddy to go cry to? He can't go shut down another foreign aid service. Like, what
I
would
don't think
the
he
what can
is
he
like
do to
in
you at this point?
he's I don't know. He's not like I don't think he's in good with them. Anyway, whatever. I
Yeah.
think like non-zero chance in
Yeah.
like the next month that
I mean,
Twitter
they need
dies.
it. Obviously, like the Trump administration needs Twitter to ferment it. They
Yeah,
can't
that's
do
sort
their
of the main
stupid
thing is
DHS
like that
memes
there is
on Blue
this
Sky.
yeah, there is this relationship there, there's the government is also like many governmental figures are obsessed with X in particular. That's where they
Yeah.
do their social media. That's where they get radicalized.
But
That's where
that's the
they
thing.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's like it's so weak. You can just like
Yeah.
people keep saying like, please Americans do something, which fair, but also like I don't know what are we gonna do. But also literally, you guys could do something. You could fucking ban Twitter in your country, and it would work. It would.
Yeah.
You just if you don't want to, that means that the people in power are uninterested in doing it. So I'm
Mhm.
calling every other country in the world a coward until they kill Twitter for us, and by extension, the American right wing project, because they're all trapped on there. You have them in one place, and you have control over that place. Just a little bit of control, you could kill it.
I mean, hot
Yeah.
take. Do you think there's a parallel here to like the way they've dealt with the Epstein files, where I think calling them pedophiles is one of their favorite hobbies, and then the pedophile shit is actually happening in there amongst them, and then they kind of all look the other way. Like, is it? Because I don't know if anyone has, that they're all on the, the sex abuse material site.
I think a lot of them are.
Like
I think the
yeah,
ones
like
that
was there a
matter
moment when
do are
yeah
they'd have to go to a site that has moderation.
Hmm.
yeah they don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, and also they would have to go to, or they'd have to go to their own little place, and the right hates being like it tears itself apart when it's on its like own
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because they're spiritually on Mastodon.
Right.
Yeah, they're technically on Mastodon, and nobody wants that. I'm sorry, respect to
It'd
people who are on
be
Mastodon.
why does it
If
yeah
Yeah.
you are if
some
you
can
are
shut it down and make
if
them
you're
all
a
go truth
non-binary
social.
Linux developer, then you are happy on Mastodon.
um, but yeah. Okay. So additional rapid fire predictions, then we can move on to the mailbag. Okay. So let's see. Other predictions. Oh yeah. Um, Mr. Beast will do some kind of horrible challenge video to help humanize ice. Uh,
No,
Gross.
I don't think
No.
that's gonna
I
happen.
I think that he will. So I do think that this is the year though where like he goes down a peg in some capacity. He's
Yeah.
already. It
Yeah,
feels like he's going to
he's
become
fake.
far less popular.
Yeah.
People are now see through a lot of like what he does. Although, if you ever want to feel really depressed, go look at the YouTube comments of like, for example, that horrible video he did where he like stranded people way up high and forced them to like live up there for some number of days, for like $100,000 or whatever that was. The comments are weirdly positive. Like there's still a lot of kids out there who love
Yeah.
him and just watch like look at his videos like it's reality TV. They don't question the premise. They're just like, wow, that person did so well, or like, wow, that guy sucks. He didn't want it bad enough. But I do think that the broader kind of conception of him as a figure has taken a few hits, and that
It's
he will
yeah.
probably do something beyond the pale this year that
Yeah.
really puts him in the crosshairs.
I also think he's just. I mean, I think people have commented that to the extent that his love was ever organic, it isn't now.
Well,
Like
he's
it's
becoming a bank, right? Isn't he that thing
like
sort of break?
X.com,
He's,
right? Where I do all my
yeah,
financing.
he's launching some kind of bank or something
Yeah, yeah,
bizarre.
he's launching something like that, which, yeah, a bank
That'll
for
that'll
12-year-olds.
go down. Yeah, that won't go well.
Yeah. Speaking of 12-year-olds, FaZe Clan returns again with an even younger crew of streamers. Parentheses, 12 years old.
I do
Oh
not
yeah.
understand the economics of FaZe Clan at this point. I don't think I ever
I mean,
did.
FaZe Clan doesn't either. Everybody left.
I know,
FaZe
but
Clan is a
like,
hollowed out shell.
it's really crazy that they like any of that shit is like even. I don't know. It's not. I know it isn't. We've done reporting on this. I apologize, but
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. Sometimes I feel this way whenever I see like professional CS:GO stuff, and I know that
Mhm.
makes a lot of money, but I'm like, do I know anybody who actually keeps up with professional CS:GO at this point?
Yeah.
Other
Let's see.
reporters.
Or CS2, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Another
Let-
Monday.
in line with those other predictions, around content creation, let's see. Twitch won't ban Asmongold,
No.
despite all of the heinous shit that he has been saying even recently
Yeah.
about, the shooting in Minnesota. Might ban Hassan. We'll see.
I could see it. What do you think
Yeah.
will happen
I don't
to
think it's gonna
Twitch
happen.
this year? How's Twitch looking in 2026?
I mean, it's going to continue having a lot of trouble. Like,
Yeah.
ever since Twitch had all those layoffs and like lost a lot of their staff from like years back, it's just been like a downward trajectory for the platform itself. Like nobody likes Dan
Do you
Clancy.
think?
Nobody believes in him as a leader.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I think
Do you think
that
Bezos would ever pull the plug?
this is always the question.
Mm,
Yeah.
People have speculated about this for years. They've been like, "Oh yeah, he's just gonna finally like get rid of it." But the thing about Twitch is that, in terms of being like a significant part of the Amazon empire, it just isn't really. Like it doesn't make much money, not profitable, but it also doesn't cost that much, relatively speaking. So it's not like there's an urgent need to get rid of it.
I think it's a
I think that
rounding
like
error.
Bezos in particular, right? Yeah, it's like a rounding error. And so Bezos in particular, that like layer of Amazon management just doesn't care.
Hmm.
Like as long as the money relatively makes sense, which I think by laying off tons of people and by, implementing ads everywhere, like they basically managed to balance things out.
Right. Yeah.
And
Do you
so,
think even if they don't care about it themselves as a company, they surely must recognize that it as an ecosystem is important, right? Like that killing it would be destabilizing to a universe that they also don't care about, but they do understand. I think that they can make money from. Like I don't want to believe that Jeff Bezos's largesse that he would ruin 40% of the gaming industry or whatever. But
Well, no, I mean
surely
it's
he must
not.
be aware of why it matters.
Yeah, I mean it's weird too because I don't know. Twitch is still like relatively small, and like tons of people stream on YouTube now too. The
Yeah.
Yeah,
like audience for
right.
YouTube streamers is bigger, frankly, because YouTube is enormous. Um, but Twitch is very unique, and a lot of
Yeah.
people watch and care about streamers. I mean, actually, going back to Mr. Beast, he was just talking about how like, he's going to become a streamer now because it seems like all the like younger people prefer streamers to like
Yeah.
even traditional YouTubers. Um, and Twitch is like unique as a cultural thing. Like a lot of the people who are on the platform know each other and interact in this way that YouTubers just generally don't. Um, but again, I think if you're somebody like Jeff Bezos, none of that really matters to you. It's so far beneath your notice.
They fucked up clips. Like clips could have been their short form content. It comes from their ecosystem. YouTube Shorts was smart. I'm sorry to say, I know enough people who anecdotally watch YouTube Shorts, and it's fucked up.
I
But
watch so many of them.
why? I
hate
don't
them.
understand it. I
Because
don't
I have a
understand it.
disease, man.
I
I have a
know, I know.
disease.
They did the right move, and I fucking hate that for
They're
them.
awful. I hate
They're
them.
they're
I hate
garbage,
them
but
for hours.
they found a way to do
Ugh.
it, and YouTube's now benefiting from that. And Twitch could have done that, but here's the other thing.
Yeah.
You know what Twitch also spend, or what Amazon also spends a shitload of money on? Alexa. Alexa doesn't do shit. Like, have you ever, do you know how much money they lose on fucking? It's crazy how much money they have dumped into like this chat, this like the Echo Dot, all this stuff that like the use case was, hey, maybe it'll help you buy toilet paper slightly more. Nobody uses it for that, and now they're just fucking funneling it into like AI bot shit. They'll keep running Twitch. They don't care. They make so much money.
Yeah.
They have AWS. They don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll just, continue to be this kind of like stayed status quo where Twitch doesn't meaningfully
Do
improve. The culture continues to sort of like circle the drain, especially as a result of short form video and how that's now like weaponized against streamers, how like everybody is always talking about out of context clips of each other. And like that creates the drama of the week every week, and the vibes are just constantly rancid. Um, but,
would it be a good
Twitch
plug?
won't go away.
Do we think that like Discord will go down the shitter this
Yes.
year?
It's
Yes,
gonna get
definitely.
shittier. It's not
Yeah,
gonna die,
they're
but it
they're
will get.
IPOing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's going
Yeah.
down.
Yep. No, it's going to become abysmally and shitified. Like,
But it'll still
you know,
exist. I mean, I guess if it
Yes.
yeah,
IPOs,
it'll still exist.
yeah.
No, it will just become. I think that what we will see is, especially once things get, become untenable, but a series of exoduses, not unlike what we've seen with like Twitter and stuff, which leaves, even people like ourselves in a kind of difficult spot.
Right.
Like we have I really like our Discord. We have a great Discord, which by the way, you can subscribe and gain access to it if you would like to do so, for just $10. But anyway, should all of that come to pass, this, iceberg that we can see approaching, like, where would we go? Where do we move? I saw people
Right.
talking about like some sort of like open source alternatives and things like that. But it's really hard to get communities to move.
Sorry, Riley. I love that that exhausted breath because I feel it's in my heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to run. You don't want to run the Discord into Docker container. You don't
Right.
want to. You don't want to like Docker container
It
up.
was,
Docker
I
compose.
was talking to somebody yesterday, and their thing has a Reddit, and it was like, oh, do you get a subreddit? Is that where? But the
Yeah.
thought of that is like, oh god, I don't. That's not the same. I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like, that's the other thing is, I think that like what Luke was
And Reddit's
uh,
bad too. So like,
Luke was posting links to like forums and stuff like that. Like, and we can make a forum, but that would also be pretty fundamentally different from a Discord.
That's so much work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all just a lot of work. In any case, this is just a hypothetical for now. Maybe
yeah,
IPOing will actually, for the first time in history, improve a product, and Discord will become better than ever.
maybe.
Yeah. That is not my prediction, though. My prediction is the other thing.
Wow.
Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all of the predictions that are actually worth talking about. I was trying to come up with a joke of like the most ridiculous thing that could be added to Fortnite this year, but like that's one of those that it's gone beyond parody at this point. You can say
Do you
like,
think?
oh yeah, they're gonna add blank to Fortnite, and it won't get a laugh because it's plausible. I was like, oh, they're gonna put Pluribus in Fortnite,
Yeah.
maybe. Like,
I wonder if the government would ever. I know, like there's been no right wingers that I know, but correct me if I'm wrong, have done politics things in Fortnite. But Joe Biden had an island and all that stuff.
mhm.
Like, I wonder if there isn't like does Tim Sweeney's pseudo anti politics thing hold firm, or do you ever think there would be, God forbid, like an ice theme or island or something horrible like that?
I mean, again, I wouldn't
I want to say
I
no.
wouldn't say
I
it's
just think
impossible. Yeah,
it would go too
like
far.
I sure hope not. But ICE is also getting their massive budget increase this year, and so I'm sure they're going to spend a lot of it on recruitment and marketing.
I do think they overplayed their hand. I don't know. I think the right doesn't understand content anymore. I
Mhm.
was sort of thinking about this where it's like they're trying to do like Charlie Kirk memes basically now over this whole thing,
Mhm.
but in reverse. They got so mad that people
About Minnesota, yeah.
yeah, they're trying to do that, and I don't think they understand content anymore. I think they
Mhm.
understand like the form that these things take. They're like, well, if you did
Yeah.
this thing, logically, I have to do the counter of that without understanding or analyzing why that makes me worse and why it's evil. And I think that's basically how the entire operation works. And I don't think that that's sustainable. I think it's extremely unpopular. I think there we are like in a place where we cannot measure the real popularity of these things because electoral there's not just been an election or something like that, but it's like
Right.
it's
Well,
rancid and
also,
we know it.
I don't understand. I
when it
was
comes
looking
to
at
the right
their
making
yeah.
content, like they're making memes for Twitter freaks. And the thing
Yeah.
is, like, Twitter in particular, I think of all platforms, is the most disconnected from reality.
Yeah.
Like, the people there just don't like the things that normal people like and are cruel in ways that are off-putting to other people. Like, if you go from like Instagram to being on Twitter, or like TikTok to being on Twitter, you'll be like, this is awful. Like, I would never spend any time here willingly. It's just people who've always been there, who've had their brains rotted, and like now they don't know how to leave, and so they're just making an echo chamber to each other, and like it's just not appealing to anyone else. You're not going to recruit new people doing that, but they don't know that. They're like, this is the whole world to me. Twitter is real life.
This is also why
Like,
if you nuke it,
we were
it
like
will.
that too.
Sorry.
I feel like we were like that until Twitter got sold to Musk, though. Yeah, like the left.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Twitter has also
So
changed massively since it got
yeah,
sold to Musk in terms of what it shows you, in terms of the,
yeah.
disproportionate makeup of its audience, all of those things. Like, it has become a radicalization engine deliberately, whereas before you could argue that that was a byproduct. And like, yeah, if you're not in the market for that kind of content, if you don't already sort of like, if you're not in the pipeline or if you don't agree with it, then it's just like, Christ, this sucks. This is
It
just awful.
it really will. I think if you did that, you'd have a bunch of guys just like who pay for blue checks just wandering around the streets like they broke the pathing on. I hate using NPC analogies, but it would be Morrowind adjacent. It would just be like hitting into the wall of a car because they don't know where to go because like their objective died.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that I saw some of the DHS memes around like Christmas where there were just these floods of images and like they don't even make sense. Where they're like, "This is America after whatever we think we've done to immigration."
Oh,
And
where they
just like
Hiroshi
random,
Nagai.
yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what like. What is the America? Like, if it were like some clip of like just one or two clips, but I'm like, I
Oh
don't. You're showing clips from movies that existed
man.
before. I'm like, I
I
don't even understand them. Like, what
I'm
are they?
sad. I'm sad. It's sad to know that I know who Hiroshi Nagai is a great artist, by the way, but he was like essentially associated with City Pop, and all of these guys are still huffing paint fumes off of like the right wing fash like vaporwave shit from like 10 or
Oh, is
20
it a
years
thing?
ago.
Oh, it's like a
And
thing.
so like when they're doing that stuff, all it is like just piss water dregs of like 4chan stuff from a decade ago. Like, which sucks
Oh,
because Hiroshi Nagai is great. He's a fucking great artist. You should look up his stuff. It's wonderful. It's all very like California, like cool stuff. It's
oh,
very
interesting.
nice.
I had no idea what it was like supposed to be, and I was just like, I don't understand what you're telling me with this post.
All right. Well, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say that my prediction is that Twitter will unfortunately continue to exist, but it shouldn't. And yeah, I hope that other countries start banning it, like Chris said, because then
It would be funny.
maybe there will be some motion. Yeah, and the funniest possible thing does often happen, so it's possible.
Matt,
Um,
maybe it'll happen. Maybe Musk will just like wander around. Like, what would he do? Like, what would it do to him? Like, he would just be so pissed off. He would
Maybe
just
he'd be relieved. I don't
no, he
know.
wouldn't.
yeah,
I,
yeah, he needs Twitter. Like
He has so much
it
else to
is
do with his.
in the way that
Just
AI
live.
guys
he
talk about how
doesn't.
like AI augments their brains. That's what like actually augments, or the opposite of augments, Elon Musk's brain. Like these things are fused.
He would have to
Into
post on
people.
Threads, on fucking Threads.
Now
Elon
that's
Musk.
the funniest possible outcome.
That
For
would be
whatever
it.
Can you
reason, the
imagine?
idea of Elon Musk specifically posting on Threads is like, yeah, incredible. Peak
I'm
comedy.
rooting for it now.
If this happens,
Yeah.
I want to, I don't know, someone buy me a sandwich or something.
Yeah, I'll join. Then I'll join Threads.
Yeah. Speaking of buying things, let's move to the mailbag, which you can gain access to by buying a subscription to
Hey.
Nicely
Aftermath.site.
done. Nicely done.
Um, all right. So, one of the first ones is just about our predictions for the year. So we already did that. All right. Let's see. From Jack, what is the January image in the Aftermath 2026 calendar? What would the image be? Um, hmm. Something that feels January-y.
I woke up this morning very early and started making a spreadsheet. So I hope it's not a spreadsheet.
That'd be kind of funny though. I
It's a
don't hate
picture
that
of my
idea.
color coded spreadsheet.
I
Yeah.
feel like it would be like a snowy day, and like I'm just thinking of like old corny calendars. It'd just be like
Yeah. Oh.
I'd be on a really fucked up sled from Alibaba going down in the park. I'm just trying to
Mhm.
think of all the other stuff you'd do in the illustration. Riley would be
You can
doing
have
something with like an you'd have a ukulele or
mhm.
something like that. You'd definitely have a cool little scarf.
Yeah.
Oh, I make
And it
it
could
like
have like
oh,
cameos
I
from
could show
like
you guys.
Yes.
it could
I'm
maybe
making
be
a
set
scarf.
like in front of the little like cottage from our most recent like piece of merch.
Hmm.
Our aspirational office. And then
Yeah.
we have like cameos from our not very long line of characters, like the Destroy AI woman,
Making
and
this sad
I
little
don't know, maybe one of our cats. Yeah. All right, we made a January image for a calendar. It's beautiful. Somebody do fan art of it.
Someone in
All
chat
right.
suggests it would be the big mug, which is also a good one.
Oh, the big mug would have to make an appearance. Yeah,
It's
it would
just like
have
a
to
guy
be.
Mug,
though. It has like
it's
legs.
so
Oh, it
big.
definitely has legs. Yeah. No, it has like little legs and little arms, and it's also holding two smaller mugs full of hot chocolate that it's gonna. And you're like, wait, are those mugs for us to drink from, or like are those your kids?
I think the mugs would
And
be
it's
its
very
children
Sharing.
next
unflattering.
to it. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Look behind the curtain. We have discussed if it would be possible for there to be a bigger mug, but I feel like we've broken into the sphere of
No,
like
no, we're doing
what
it.
even is a mug at this point.
Yeah. No,
That's sort of the
I've actually
problem
got to add that.
that we've
Got to add
hit.
that goal.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's another peek
starting
behind the
to
curtain. We're gonna add a new subscriber goal
yeah,
for an even bigger mug.
we're
So get
starting
ready. Yeah.
One time,
Thank you
had
for
to have
reminding me of that. I forgot.
existential conversations about
my
what a mug
friend had a
is.
mug this big that he would
Mhm.
bring to a techno festival. He still does. And it's like a comical oversized one, and he would just like you just see him like early morning in
It's
the
still a
rave.
mug
Yeah,
with a
it's a giant mug. It's like a
Mhm.
yeah.
comical prop mug, and it just says "Wait till this kicks in." And so you just see him at like in the morning with his just gargantuan like 48 like 64-ounce mug.
Nice. Um, all right. From Ahab. What's everyone's favorite AGDQ run so far? Um, I would have to say for me, it is a tie between the Kaizo run last night, which again was just mind blowing, um, and then also the Hatsune Miku fitness boxing run that happened a few nights ago.
Hmm.
Just because those are like really off the wall and goofy, and also being there was an audience participation component. So the game begins with like Miku running you through little like stretches and warm ups, and everyone in the crowd stood up and joined in, and so we all did
Aw.
stretches together. Yeah, like 100 of us. It was fun and funny. Yeah, and then also just like you watch those maps in that game or like the challenges in that game, like they're demented. Miku like makes you fucking work out, and so props to the guy who did the run because I do not imagine that was easy. He was super winded by the end. And I think he said he'd been training for literal months to do it, which makes it even crazier because it was it was a donation incentive. So there was a world in which he didn't get to do that run. So he had trained for months and he was like sitting there waiting for the donations to kick in so he could actually do it. And he was like, what if it doesn't happen? So, fun times all around. What about y'all? Y'all got any favorite runs? You've been
I haven't been
watching much?
I haven't been keeping up enough. One, because I sort of mentally was like, well, Nathan's got this, but also
Yeah.
but the ones I did see were the ones I mentioned before, like a little bit of the
Mm.
Psychonauts 2 one. The Psychonauts 2 one was quite nice, but I'm sure there are better ones that I missed.
I feel like there
Yeah.
are ones this weekend that I meant to see. I also haven't. I made a determination over the break that I wasn't going to work, and now I'm being punished because the break ended and it was like, oh,
Mm.
everything is still there. So I've just been very, very busy this week,
Yeah.
and haven't really had a chance.
Well, you can always watch on YouTube.
That's
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
true.
think there were a couple that I
um,
wanted to.
all right. From Mystic Eddie T, which games are you most proud to have finished right to the end credits, either because they took the longest or were the most challenging / counterintuitive? Hmm. Man, what games have I finished to the end credits that were also challenging or counterintuitive? Uh,
I'm glad that I finished Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I know that was a while ago, but my friend and I really it took us so long to coordinate, and we really stuck it through.
mhm.
I was gonna say The Witcher 3, but I'm sad that I finished it. I feel like it was one of those games where I was like, I don't ever want to see the end. Like, I was sad about it.
Yeah, CD Projekt is good at making those kinds of worlds. I felt
Yeah,
similarly about Cyberpunk. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just enjoying hanging out here, and I'm
yeah.
kind of sad that like I've now kind of done most things, and it's time to like pick an ending.
For me, it's I'm glad I did the Manbreaker
Yeah.
in baby steps.
Man, I keep writing this blog halfway and then deleting it. I decided to finally play Baby Steps, like the full version, and you walk by the cup in the beginning, and I'm like, oh, it's an entry level, it's your first side quest, I can do it. I can't do it. I can't get it. And I sit there and I try, and I've watched like 50 YouTube videos about exactly where you got to stand, and I'll start and then I'll fall, and I'm like, I don't even want it. And I'll start walking away, and then I'm like plodding away, and then I turn around and I'm like, well, no. I think I went to the next bit, and I'm pretty sure now I can't get it. But I was like, I kept thinking of you and your big challenge, and I was like, this certainly doesn't bode well for me that I can't do this, does it? Does the game, I imagine, just gets harder from not being able to get the cup? I imagine.
I mean, it does and it doesn't. Like, it gets harder, but also like the things that are hard are like you just don't have to do them. Like a lot of the really hard things
Yeah,
you just don't are like optional. You don't have to get the cup. Cup's like not a
yeah.
thing you have to do. It's like if it really bugs you, you just just keep walking up there.
See, this keeps this happening again. And then I was going away, and there's a fruit or something. I was like, gosh, how do you get that? And then I was looking, I was like, oh, I see how you get it. I don't care. And then I'll start walking away, and then I'm like, and I turn around, and then it's like now I'm in this, and I'm like, why? Like,
Mhm.
I find it like such a strange game to play.
Well, the thing is, I started playing a second run of it because I wanted to get the secret gymnasium that's underwater or something in the beginning of the
Wow.
first area. There's like a weird secret gymnasium in the pool that you fall
What?
into in the water.
Oh wow.
And but like I wanted to do that, and then I was like, what if I just like walk around a bit? And I was just like, and then I was like, oh yeah, well, I wonder how hard it is to do that thing that took me like 30 minutes the first time, which is getting the apple. And I'm just like, oh, that took 2 seconds. It feels like Goku came back after like fucking like, after being with King Kai, and everyone's like, what the fuck happened to you? It's just like it's like I climbed up the mountain.
Yeah. I think for
Uh,
me, like this question's hard to answer because I am one of those people who has tremendous problems finishing games. Like I was just going
yeah.
through even like my most played Steam games in terms of hours, and I'm like, like games where I have hundreds of hours and like I didn't finish that, I didn't finish that, I didn't finish that. Um, Glad I finished the first Hades. Still haven't finished Hades 2, even though I have a comparable number of hours in it. Let's see.
I'm
What did I
ashamed
not?
that I haven't finished Clair Obscur. I still can't decide. Like, I should just watch a Let's Play of the rest of it. Like, just give it
Mhm.
up. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, you're not gonna do it, man. Like, just find out
Yeah,
what happens.
I'm on the fence. I'm gonna try to return to it soon. We'll see. I'm glad
Because
I
everybody
finished
talked
Yakuza.
about the end. I want to
Yeah,
know what happens. We can
Pretty
we
good.
can
okay.
have a VG chat about
Mhm.
it long after anyone is talking about it.
Okay, here's one. Here's mine.
I
I'm
haven't been
glad that
spoiled
I
though.
rolled credits on Yakuza 0 because I first started playing that game in like 2017 and then finished it in like 2024 and just sort of like chipped away at it. Would have times where I got into it, then I'd like stop playing it because of life or whatever. And unlike with every other game where I had that issue of, oh, I'm going to step away from this for a minute and then I don't come back, I actually came back and I did it and I beat the game years later.
That is impressive. Yeah, it's hard to come
Yeah.
back to a game.
I will say also, I'm glad I finally I beat War of the Lions again. It's not that it's a
Mhm.
hard game to beat, or the Evil's Chronicles rather, using the modified because one they kind of fix a lot. That translation's really good. Like they do a good
Mhm.
job, and it really does address a thing that was really critical of the with Final Fantasy, which is like, oh, it kind of like stops being about the class stuff near the end. It starts being about like, oh, you got to kill a demon or something like that. And that's technically still true, but like it does thread it in there in a way that's like not perfect or the best work he's ever done, but like it really does like still keep its shape in a way that like I guess like maybe Final Fantasy X kind of does, and but like Final Fantasy VII does not. Like it holds to its premise very well until the end, and
Mhm.
that is often very a patchy thing to happen in these games.
All right. Last question from Ghost Then. Um, do you all, I think, do you all have tips or tricks to mentally turn off and focus on hobbies or little moments of peace away from the dreaded news cycles? So basically,
You?
what?
I was going to say, does
Yeah,
the
I mean,
question?
yeah, right?
You
No, I
tell me,
mean,
man. Jeez.
honestly, like, I would say no, and I would say that it's like getting worse too. I definitely spend
Ah,
way too much time
man.
just like scrolling on my phone,
Ah,
and like at least ambiently absorbing what is happening in the news, even when like I'm not looking at things that are news related that are just like whatever, because it's always like right there, and it's so easy to go from one app to another and to not even realize that you've like opened Blue Sky or whatever, and you are suddenly taking tremendous psychic damage. Um, yeah,
Oh, I do have tips for this.
yeah.
okay.
One
It was my
is
goal for the new year, and I'm failing real bad.
I do have blockers on my I like train with weights like Goku.
Mhm.
You have blockers on local. So I think Cold Turkey is what I use on desktop,
Mhm.
and Screen Zen is what I use on mobile. Screen Zen's very good. I know Gita, they were talking about the Brick app. It's a button that you buy that
Mhm.
you can put in like a different room, and you have to like touch it or something to basically turn on all your blocks. You know what I mean? So it's like a
Mhm.
physical device you buy once that like is in another room. Also, if you are on Blue Sky and you think maybe I'm posting too much, I would highly recommend you subscribe to the filter posts too much. It is like the they live glasses for, oh man, this person's got to take a walk. And if you find yourself posting more than 50 times a day, which includes replies, then you will just be like, I've learned my lesson. I'm repentant. I'm not doing
Mhm.
this. Most of you guys are fine, by the way, but it does open your eyes where it's like, that person got to calm down a little bit,
I know.
and
Yeah.
My problem isn't posting, it's just looking at it. I had made a resolution because I think I lose, much like short form videos, I lose years of my life to just looking at the fucking thing. And I
yeah.
feel like
Mhm.
sometimes there's these days where I'm like, what did I do? Like, why did I spend? I don't want to be doing this. I want to be doing other things. And I think then all this news happened, and then it's like it's so hard because some of it is like you're a reporter and people are talking about things there, and so you do kind of have to, be a little bit aware of it. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, I have absolutely, because I like Saturday, I was like, great, yeah, I'm home and I'm gonna, yeah, my new life where I don't do this, and I feel like I lost the whole day to like learning about Venezuela on social media, and I was like, we literally just said like on the night of the first, like we're not gonna do this anymore, and I was like, God, gosh darn it, like wow.
Yeah. I'm really just trying to like go back to spending more of my time like playing games and then going way back to a previous era of my life reading books.
Yeah,
Um just
Books
because
rock.
like I I feel like A, I'm rotting my brain, and B, that like so many of these things that feel immediate and horrible, they pass, and like you may as well spend your time instead fixating on something that is less terrible, or just like, actually enjoying yourself, because like that stuff will be there the whole time anyway. But it's just like really hard to get into those habits. It's hard to break the habits that I think scrolling instills in you, because all these things are designed to be addictive. And like, that's one of those things that I've been confronting within myself. I'm like, I'm definitely addicted to this object. Like, this is for sure an actual addiction.
Hmm.
And like, it is in many ways crippling. And I'm like, I can't keep doing
yeah,
this. It's
it's
just not
bad.
good for me, and it doesn't make me happy.
I'm getting better at I'm getting better at doing little hobbies again. Like this is another
Mhm.
keyboard. I'm gonna get another keyboard going.
Yeah, I
And
get tight. I made a list of things I need to do every day, like fun things like go outside and talk to a person and like read and play my instruments and practice my Irish. And like, I haven't totally succeeded at checking each one off every day, but it has been good when I'm like, I'm gonna look at blue sky, and I'm like,
Mhm.
or we could go on a walk and then we can check it off our little list. And I do love checking things off lists. So like, that's quite nice. But
oh, I found a very good because I'm now able to work out again. I feel very
Mhm.
bad. I gained a bunch of weight just because I broke my foot and then had like surgery, and like it was I couldn't work out for 6 months in any real meaningful way aside from like having a fucked up peg leg that was like more work than regular walking. But I want to give a shout out to Liftosaur, because my old lifting app ate shit and locked me out and destroyed all my old notes. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to have to do that again. And so somebody was kind enough to recommend the most developed by one guy fucking lifting app, or one person. It's dorky as fuck, but I was like, oh, but boring but big is in this. Like all the good like Reddit ass routines are already pre-made in this, and it's just one drop. And like it's either like there's certain features like plate calculators and stuff that they gate off, but like otherwise it's like you can buy it once for $100 and it supports the dev. And I did because I was like, this is a nice app. This is a nice app for a nice person. It works on desktop. I thank you. I don't want to ever have to worry about this shit ever again.
All right. Well, I think on that note, it is time to end the show. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. If you like what
it
you
was so
heard,
grim.
you can subscribe at aftermath.site. And if you, otherwise, if you can't subscribe at the moment, again, love it if you could leave a review. We record the show every week on Thursday at 4 p.m. ET, and we will be back next week. But until then, have a good one.
Goodbye.